Hey, good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. Very excited to be here, kicking off Black History Month. You know, I really do go hard for my alma mater, and that's Georgia State University. And right now, I definitely got to plug them because I don't know if you know, but of all the institutions in the United States of America, Georgia State University graduates more Black students than any of the other ones. So I just thought that was very interesting. Even though it's a PWI, I definitely got that experience that allowed me to embrace my culture. And, you know, I'm also very happy to kick off Black History Month on the Transportation and Logistics Clubhouse with the brother who has helped shift our culture, educating young brothers and sisters that, you know, working a trade job. I mean, let me just say it like this. A trade job such as a truck driver can be so much more. That it's the individual mindset that holds the key to your future. So I'm very pleased and honored to welcome brother Rahmel Wattley. Hey, brother Wattley, how you feeling today, sir?
What's good, my brother? How are you?
I'm cool, man. Cool. And just great to have you here. I just said your name, but if you could, please give us a brief introduction about who you are, brother.
Oh, man. Rahmel Wattley, host and creator of Truck and Hustle podcast, the dopest trucking podcast in the world, where we interview the dopest entrepreneurs in the trucking industry, transportation, logistics, so forth and so on, man. That's the high level right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, look, man, I appreciate you for joining. And for the folks who don't know, essentially, I've learned so much from Brother Rahmel. Without seeing what this brother had going on, there's no way that I'd be doing this. So I did want to just... Yeah, there's no doubt about it, man. There's no doubt about it. So I'm very grateful to have you here. And, you know, you do have Truck and Hustle, okay?
Yeah.
How many episodes have been released to date?
126 as of this Tuesday.
As of this Tuesday, 126, man. Wow. Congratulations. Let me just say that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. That's love.
Yeah, for sure, man. I told you when I saw you, I was like, look, if I can be guest number 200 or something, you know, I'd be happy, you know. So, I mean, I'm still on track. I still got some growing to do, but I do plan on being one of those guests. You know, but at this point, your body of work, 126 released episodes, you know, it kind of speaks for itself. Like, what inspires you to keep on interviewing folks, like keeping those interviews coming?
Well, first, thank you, man, for having me on your platform, man. This is really dope. I haven't really been on Clubhouse in quite some time, so you know, I'm you know, just coming back to this vibe or whatever. So I got to get used to it again. But to talk about just really the inspiration for just Truck and Hustle, man, it's you know, I'm an entrepreneur, and I've also been in the transportation industry for almost 20 years. You know, I've kind of seen it all. I've done, you know, I've done multiple jobs. I've worked in corporate. I've worked for small mom and pop companies, all the way to some of the, you know, largest mega carriers that, you know, people have heard of. That's pretty popular. And in addition to that, I started my own business in 2015. So I have a pretty vast trucking background, but you can never stop learning, right? Anybody in this room and anybody in the industry or just in business in general, you know, you have to always continuously learn and continue to educate yourself. And, you know, I was always a big podcast listener. I love podcasts, and I love the medium and the platform, and just the way it kind of speaks to you is really intimate. And you could really just kind of like get to know the host and get to know the guests that, you know, people bring on, depending on, you know, the format of the podcast. And I just always loved the medium. So, you know, I started listening to podcasts probably 10 years ago, but it was, you know, more so, you know, things about just business in general and e-commerce and other things that piqued my interest. So, you know, just one day I just thought to myself, man, I would love to create a podcast. And, you know, I wanted to just do something on entrepreneurship in general at first, just to kind of talk about it and build something. But you know, I was like, man, just the business mind of me was saying, you know, in order to create something, you have to really niche down. You have to be more specific. In order to build an audience, you have to create a niche for yourself. And it was, you know, just putting two and two together. There was no better niche than the thing that I've been doing most of my life, you know, for half my life or at that point. So I said, listen, I'm going to do a trucking podcast. I did my research and just really saw what was out there. A lot of the other things that were out there in terms of, media for transportation. Number one, there's not a lot of media for transportation, right? And anything that you do see out there is going to be more so, it's kind of over a lot of people's heads if you're not in the industry. There wasn't anything that was really speaking to me. Right. I didn't want to create something that was, really deep and talking about, spot markets and that type of, because, to me, if you're not involved in the industry, that's going to go over your head. So I said, let me create something that could attract people to the industry and that could also tell stories that could also inspire people. I love just having conversations with strangers. I love learning about people. I love talking about entrepreneurship. And this is just the podcast is what I do in my everyday life. I just, started recording it. So honestly, I just kind of, put pen to paper, just came up with an idea, a concept. I put the hip hop twist on it because I am a hip hop baby. I love music. I used to rap when I was young.
Right.
I thought I was going to be a rapper when I got older, but I never quite, made it to that point in my career. So, I just kind of was able to use my voice doing this. So it was dope because I was able to take some things, from a past life and then mix it with, my current life and then create this podcast. And, I started it in 2019 for people who don't know. July 2019, my first guest was actually somebody who I worked with and saw. I actually saw his maturation into entrepreneurship and he saw mine. Like we both, became entrepreneurs around the same time, but kind of like on a different side of the coin. And we worked together at a job. I was his dispatcher. So he was my first guest. His name is Dante Dean. And I brought him on because I thought it'd be really dope just to set it off like that. And, we had a dope discussion. If y'all ever get a chance, go back to that first episode and you'll kind of hear our discussion. And that was it. It was just really organic. And I was just really telling him how proud I was of him of making that transition from being a company driver to actually, buying his own truck and just talking to him about, how he wanted to take it to the next level and his plans and so forth and so on. So we started there. And then, I reached out to a few more friends and then we started building, man. It started becoming some interest. I started reaching out to just influencers and people who I saw that were, just talking about trucking, which there wasn't really a lot at that time. It seems within the last 2 years, trucking really became sexy. I feel like, but at that time there were people definitely talking about it, but it wasn't a lot. So I started really looking around social media and seeing who was, really talking about trucking and their business and just started just reaching out to people randomly. And, one of my biggest shows probably at that time was probably Hood Estates. I always show love to them because, they were making a lot of noise on social media and talking about leasing on your truck and ways to create money passively in trucking. And I reached out to them, not knowing them. And they responded to me right away. They was like, yeah, I'll do your show. And I think that was the first time that really gave my show some trajectory, in terms of a lot of people starting to see it because they had a big following. And, it just started really snowballing from there and really growing. And then it just started to grow organically. And then I just started really just reaching out to different people. And now here we are today to where, we ain't got to reach out no more, man. Now the inbox is crazy and everybody wants to be on the show, because it's just become that kind of that rite of passage, man. It's you on Truck and Hustle, you official, you stamp. And I'm just so blessed to be in position to have a platform that people love so much and give that kind of credit to and appreciate like that. So that's really that's it, man. That's kind of the story of how everything kind of got started to where we're at now.
Hey, man, thank you so much for going through that. I mean, that's exactly what I was looking for. And you're a professional. I didn't even have to ask one question. I had a list of questions that I'm talking about. You checked off 4 of them.
All right. I mean, we could also always dive into them or iterate or whatever, folks want to know, feel free, man. I'm an open book. So, I don't really get an opportunity to share my story too much because I'm always really focusing on others. And that's really what I like to do. That's my comfort zone. I like putting the light on other people. I'm kind of, I'm more quiet and just reserved. And I like to bring the best out of people. That's really my passion, to ask the right questions and to give people the opportunity to shine. So, I mean, yeah, feel free, man. If I answer a question, you could always go deeper into it or whatever, however you want to make it happen. I'm here, man.
All right. So, look, let me just ask this. I mean, do all brothers from up north do they have like rap aspirations early? You know, because I knew that was you on the intro.
Yeah. You know, I think so. I mean, you know, I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I moved to New Jersey early, but like I moved to the suburbs in New Jersey. So I was born in a city in Brooklyn, East 43rd, Flatbush. And, you know, we have really deep roots in hip hop. So like Busta Rhymes was from my neighborhood, like Chubb Rock, Special Ed, UTFO, like all these guys, you know, they were from my neighborhood. They lived like right around the corner. So both of my brothers were rappers, you know, amongst other things, rappers and did a whole bunch of other illegal activities. But, you know, so I came up in the music. You know, so it was always ingrained in me from a very young age, you know. And then like when I moved to Jersey, I moved to a small suburb called Hightstown. That was kind of like a mixed, it actually was East Windsor outside of Hightstown, but I went to Hightstown High School. But either way, it was really mixed. Like, you know, you had, you know, people from all walks of life, people from all different races and all that. So that was a blessing for me because I got to come up around a lot of different people, and just kind of looking back on that kind of helped me in terms of being able to relate to any and everybody, you know, because I came up around any and everybody. I had white friends, I had black friends, I had, you know, friends that were Asian, you know, Indians, all of that. And I was cool with everybody. I was that guy who just, you know, if you were good people, you had good energy, I would rock with you. It didn't really matter, like, you know, who you were, where you came from. So yeah, to answer the rap question, man, like, I always have been in the music. And I think that is something that has to do with the up north vibe, because as you know, hip hop originated out here, man.
Right.
Like in the Bronx, whoever wants to take the credit. So everybody comes up either wanting to rap or play ball. And I did both. Well. I rapped and I played ball. But rap I was pretty good. Like if you ask people that I came up with, like lyrically, like I was really nice. Like I could have definitely, if I would have pursued a rap career, I'm not trying to tap myself like that. But if I had really been serious about it and really honed into it, I would have made it like to a certain point. You know what I'm saying? But the dope thing is I'm blessed to be able to still use my voice. I could put my music out there from, you know, 2010 and 2009 and still throw it on the pod, and y'all can hear my voice and not even know you're hearing it. So, you know, it's dope, you know?
Yes, sir. All right. Well, I appreciate that. And look, I want to do something right now. I want to put you on the hot seat, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask you a series of questions. You know, just say it's this one or that one. Just your opinion, nothing serious, just quick answers, okay?
Yep. That.
All right. So let's start with, Biggie Smalls or Jay-Z?
Jay-Z.
All right. Brooklyn Nets or New York Knicks?
I don't care.
Oh, okay. Buffalo wings or lemon pepper wet?
I don't eat meat.
What, man? All right.
I don't eat meat, so you got to talk to me about fish. You got to come at me with like salmon or like Chilean sea bass or something like that.
All right, salmon or red snapper?
It depends on where I'm at. So regular every day I'm doing red snapper if I'm at the West Indian restaurant. But that's like a special treat. But more consistently salmon.
I got you.
But it got to be the right cut of salmon, because I don't do the fillets. I like the salmon steaks.
Hey, man. Hey, you know what you like. I'm not mad at it.
Facts.
All right. Lastly, Matthew Stafford in the L.A. Rams or Joe Burrow in Cincinnati Bengals?
You talking to me about sports. I'm not really a sports guy. But, yeah, the last time I watched sports, Barry Sanders was playing, bro. I'm not going to even lie to you.
Look, the funny thing is, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been so focused. I don't know. I've been so focused on transportation, logistics, and dispatching. I haven't watched a game, brother.
Real talk. I tell people, like, don't ask me about sports because it's not my thing. Like I said, in the the late 90s, I could tell you about sports. Like that's when I was following basketball. I was following all of that. But like when people talking about all these trades, the only time I hear about sports is when I'm sitting getting my hair cut. And they watching, like, you know, what's the guy, my man, who talk crazy? Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
All that. That's when I really hear like the updates on sports. Aside from that, I'm really not into sports, man. Like on my free time, I'm like more of like a Netflix guy. I'll catch up on like a dope series or something like that. Like right now, I'm watching Euphoria, that crazy show, and I'm watching Power Book. And, you know, or I'll catch up on like something old, like The Wire, or I'll check out, what's my joint with my man, Walter White?
Oh, Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. Like those are the kind of shows I like. So that's if I'm spending free time, if I'm not working or I'm not like trying to create content or thinking up like business ideas or something like that, I'm diving in like a dope movie or something like that. Me and my wife will chill. We watch like scary movies or whatever. But I'm not really a sports guy, man. It's you know what happened for me. Like as soon as like sports, like it seems like there was a turning point where sports like it really started becoming about the money. It was always
Yeah.
about the money, but like there was a pivot to where like when LeBron and them started teaming up and you started having all these super teams and like when I was younger, like somebody would play on a team for their whole career. You know what I'm saying? Like they would start with that team and they would end with that team. So now it's like people are trading teams every year. I can't keep up. So I just really like fell out of love with like just the whole vibe of what sports is, and it just doesn't interest me the way it once did. But I still I love basketball. If I have an opportunity to get on the court and play, I don't mind playing. They'll probably bust my ass because I'm terrible right now. I
A little rusty.
Weight and all that. I used to be nice back in the day, but the body don't move like it used to.
Right.
And I joined this men's league, and I quickly found that out. I still love ball. So if I get a chance to watch some ball, I'll watch it. But for the most part, I'm not watching sports, bro. So like you said, Matthew Stafford and somebody else. I don't even know who the other cat is. I couldn't even tell you. Is that Super Bowl guy, something like that?
Right. He's a young cat that's got a lot of hype around him. I think he's pretty talented, but again, I might have seen one college game and never seen an NFL game where he played. But he do got a little style. I can't even lie to you.
Got you.
But back in the
salute to both of them. I don't really know none of them or what they do like that. Everybody probably on this call like, yo, this dude don't watch sports. He wild.
No, it's all good, man.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, no, it's all good. But the funny thing is, there's a standing invitation between myself and DeMarco. So we got a hoop session coming up. So next time you in Atlanta, just holler at us.
Hold up, Marco play ball? I didn't even know he played ball.
Brother.
I know he tall, but I didn't know he could hoop.
Yeah, he said he plays, so we gonna do it.
Say they play. I say I play too. We'll see. I gotta talk to him about that. Yeah, man. I didn't know he played ball. You ball too?
Yeah, I play a little bit, but it's more for fun. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's for fun.
So that means you trash? Is that what
No, that means that I've lost to only a select few of people one-on-one in my life, but I've never been the person that's saying I'm the best thing walking. So
but the important part is who are those select people? You know what I'm saying?
Right. They're talented folks. They're talented folks.
If you handpicking your fights like Floyd Mayweather, I don't know.
Nah, we good, man. But I can't wait.
I'm messing with you.
Right. But look, let me ask this. All right. So when it comes down to it, why is it important to highlight the people who you're highlighting on your platform?
Man, it's so important because, otherwise I feel as though they wouldn't get the proper, the proper recognition that they deserve, the proper pat on the back, for their hard work. And I think it's just, there's a saying like giving a voice to the voiceless, and by no means are these people voiceless because they in their circles and in their islands, they killing it, they doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? So they have a voice, but I want to put regular people, quote unquote, on a platform just like we put celebrities or ball players on a platform. That's what I wanted to create with Truck and Hustle, like create a platform for blue collar people, because we do. And the thing is, at the end of the day, like, our kids, look up to celebrities or look up to people that they see on TV, look up to people that they see on YouTube. Right. So we have to, give them a balance and show them reality as well as, the fictional side of things. Right. Like you can be whoever you look up to, whether it's LeBron James or all of this. But the chances of you being LeBron James are a lot less slim than being DeMarco. You know what I'm saying? You could be DeMarco with some hard work. You feel me? Right. But you could be, I see my man Blue Collar. You could be Blue Collar CEO with some hard work. But to be LeBron, you got to be one out of about a billion. So it might not happen. So we need to start putting more of those faces out there and start, highlighting people like that because that's more tangible. That's more realistic. And I mean, by any means, everybody should shoot for the stars and try to be whoever they want to be in this life. But, we need to start showing people that there's other ways to get out here and be successful, man. And it doesn't have to always have to lead down that path that's, what everybody shows as what's a success, quote unquote success. So that's really it. I think that's why that is important, if that answers your question.
Oh, definitely. It definitely answers my question. And, I appreciate you for elaborating on that. I thank you personally for being an example, because I didn't know anything about this lane, like I said at the beginning of this discussion, until I saw what you had going on. You know what I mean? And then I saw like you were really thriving. And I'm like, okay, this is very, very interesting. And for those same reasons, like this is obtainable. You just got to have some hard work, some determination, some grit, to do it. But now that I'm here, I'm seeing things, I'm experiencing things. And, I noticed that the Black voices in logistics, trucking, transportation, logistics, all the three, it's kind of like, I'll say it like this. I went to a conference and there were well over 20 speakers and none of them were Black. You know what I mean? So it's just like, what are your thoughts on, how we can get more folks like in the mainstream of logistics, like Black voices being heard out here? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we have to create more of our own platforms. I mean, because at the end of the day, in order for us to put a spotlight on our own community and to put the emphasis on our own community, we have to have the platforms to put people from our own community on. We can't depend on other platforms to do it. It's nice. It's nice when it's done and it's great. And you want to think that it's always going to be fair and there's going to be equity in all the platforms, and we're going to get those looks. But that's not always the case. So I think it's important for us to have platforms that are Black owned. You know what I mean? And be able to put ourselves in position to be able to speak. But more importantly, we have to support our platforms so that they could thrive and that they could grow. So we keep on doing what we do. So we have to support the creators. We got to support the people who are trying to create the platforms like yourself. People got to show up to these things and we have to support each other and continue to build each other up. Because, 100%, we are a minority in this country as well as this industry. You know what I mean? So, the numbers itself, obviously, because we're a minority in the industry, it's less of us. But we have to just have strength and unity and create platforms to where we can get on and we can have a voice. So I think that's the first thing, man. Create your own platform, man. And then once we start creating more platforms, we support each other, we support each other's platforms, and we build each other up.
Yes, sir. I think that support is the biggest thing. I remember when you first made that transition over to Patreon, I was like, give me that membership, please. I don't even, whatever the premium one is that the Black one? You know what I mean?
Black one.
Yeah. Sign me up, just because I respect what you got going on, and support is so important when you're making a way, when you're paving a way for other people. You need that support up front. So yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. And to say, to transition a little bit, I feel as though by our actions, we've also supported in other ways. Like you and I, we met for the very first time, very impromptu, like at the Truck and Millionaires tour. So, shout out to Kiera, shout out to this brother Marcus that's in the audience right now. And also shout out to this one lady, Danny P. Look, literally, she is the secret weapon. Like, I talk to her all the time. I met her there. She has so much juice. It don't make no sense. But, you know what I mean? So, all right, so we got the Truck and Millionaires tour. Then you and I saw each other again at the She Trucking Expo in Chattanooga. So that's another situation that is, putting on by our culture. And so shout out to Jorie right there. And our brother Thomas, and lastly but not least, the Leading Ladies of Logistics Conference back in November. So, I feel as though we're doing our part to support, these conferences and showing up as much as we can. So I just, if anything, I just want the folks to hear, like, you just got to show up for each other, in this situation. How do you feel about that?
Nah, I agree 100%, man. Like you said, we bumped heads at all those conferences, and anything that's going on, especially that's put on by our culture, I want to be there. And I think we need to also have a more of a presence on things that aren't, put on by our culture as well. We need to show up to those as well and show that we have a voice and show that we have power in numbers and show that we're here. We're here and we're going to represent. So, yeah, I think 100%, I try to make it out to whatever is going on, especially if somebody invites me to something or somebody wants me to come on their platform or somebody is, asking me to be a part of something. I very rarely say no because I'm just doing that. I feel like that's my part. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to kind of bridge, some of these gaps and I'm here to be, the guy that's gonna like for me as I grow, like you grow, like my man Hamza says, right? Hamza agree, like you grow, we grow. Like so I grow, I want to pull everybody up, So the bigger my platform gets, I want to share that energy and share that with other platforms so we could all pull each other up. Because it's 100% about unity for me, man. It's like I always say, we stronger together. And that's real. It's not just like no catchphrase or nothing like that. Like I'm literally out here trying to just keep us connected. And it's just not even all about trucking. It's just about humanity. Like, it's bigger than just trucking industry talk. It's just about being good human beings and just it's enough negative, enough death and craziness out here, man. We just got to start having more positive images and more positive things that we can cling on to and build off of.
I agree wholeheartedly, brother. So thank you so much for sharing that. I did have kind of like a segue outside of Transportation and Logistics podcast. I own Atlanta Dispatch LLC. And, just from being somebody that networks, I talk to so many people just like you, so as you can imagine, I leverage that network to get high paying freight for, reefers and dry vans and all these other type of, equipment. So, independent dispatching, I would say, has been very, 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 very popular, as of the last couple years. We have, like we just said, we got DeMarco at Metromax. We got, of course, Alex from Good Energy, Adam from Innovative Logistics Group, Tawana, from Gold Star Logistics and all her, team with the leading ladies, you know what I mean? So they're giving like some real examples of how you can be successful in dispatching. But, for you, what do you think is like the next big thing, just like independent dispatching came strong? What's the next big thing you would say?
That's a good question. That's a really, really good question. And I'll start off by saying that the reason why I believe independent dispatching became really popular and everybody kind of wanting to learn more about it and wanted to get into it is because it's a low barrier to entry, right?
Yes, sir.
It's not really cost intensive. You don't have to really put up a lot of upfront capital. So it's a low barrier to entry in terms of startup costs, and then it's a really high upside, right? Mm-hmm. So you can spend a little and get a lot. So anytime, especially our people, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we see something, an opportunity where we don't have to invest a lot, but there's a high upside to it, we're going to jump on it because we know that we're creative and we know that we can, turn something or nothing into something. And that's just the magic that we possess. So we're always looking for those kind of opportunities. So when you ask me about what would be the next big thing in transportation, I had to think I'm going to start there and think about, okay, what are the other things that have a low barrier to entry that can have potential high upsides, right? So in the business itself, I would say dispatching, I think, is going to continue to thrive. I think other compliance will thrive, like helping people start up their companies, right? Like the Foleys of the world, right? Doing your forming your company, so forth and so on. I think that'll thrive because that's another low barrier and it's a service. So I think any type of service that can be created that to where you don't have to really invest a lot of money, I think those things are going to start to be brought to the front and people will start trying to get invested in those. I think another thing that's going to probably start happening a lot is people will probably start passively investing in transportation a lot to where because I think the pandemic showed that, trucking isn't going anywhere. Transportation isn't going anywhere. A lot of people really never paid attention to it. Now they're realizing that this is a viable business where you can make money and it's never going to stop. So I think a lot of people are looking at transportation as a form of potential passive income. But when you actually get into it, you realize that it's not passive at all, right? If you're really in trucking and you're really running a trucking operation, there's nothing passive about it. So I think that there's companies out there that are going to be that's going to start looking to manage fleets, right? And they'll do all the hard work, do all the heavy lifting for you, and you'll just do some investing. So let's say you purchase a truck, and they'll manage the truck for you to where you don't have to worry about it. You'll collect the residual, right? I think that'll be something that may happen. People may not do that at scale, because a lot of people don't have the skill to be able to manage large fleets. But I think a lot of people will start investing in those type of companies to where they can have a truck and say they're a fleet owner. They can, take their pictures and post them on the gram in front of their truck and do all that. But they ain't got to do the work involved in it, right? They ain't got to hire a driver. They ain't got to do nothing. It's just, like passive. So I think people or like even like leasing on your truck to another carrier, And then I think lastly, what I would like to see people start looking into is more tech, right? And the thing is as tech is exploding now, and there's so much opportunities in the transportation space because there's so many small problems that need to be solved in the transportation space, right? Just small problems, all these little like apps that come out every day that just solve really, really small particular problems that could be the next, $100 million to $1 billion startup. I think that's where we need to really start paying attention to and start solving some of those pain points in transportation. And I think now that because technology is so advanced, the cost to create an app is way less than it was 10 years ago today, right? So you can get a dev team for a lot cheaper than whether it's offshore or onshore, for a lot cheaper than you could have 5 or 10 years ago. So if you could start thinking of some solutions, that you basically, pain points that you're faced with every day in your everyday life during your operation, and start solving little problems, I think that will be, there's huge opportunity there. Now, will people do that at scale? Probably not. But I think that there's going to be a lot of tech startups that will be coming soon in the transportation space. There already are a lot in fintech, a lot of payment solutions, and a lot of different TMS systems and those type of things. But I think there's other little pockets that people can get into in the transportation space to solve other problems, whether it's like communicating with your drivers, how you communicate with your shippers, your brokers, whatever. But, planning, scheduling, whatever. But just in this space, I think there's so many opportunities there. I think if people start looking into it, there's huge potential for some growth there. So
no doubt.
Kind of a couple different answers. Like I said, dispatching is just special because, like I said, it's just so low barrier to entry.
Right.
It's so much upside. It's just really attractive, man. It's really, really, really attractive. So I understand why people want to jump into it. So I don't know if we'll have another dispatching per se, because I can't see anything like that right now. And then you got to think the industry is evolving, right? So there's going to be other opportunities creative that may be another dispatching that we don't even really see yet, right? We have self-driving trucks coming into play and different things that may take, a third party to put their hands in it to make that connection. So there's going to be things that happen over the next few years or the next 10 years or so that's going to create other opportunities that we may not see yet. But I think in terms of like this huge influx of people just want to jump in and learn how to dispatch, I think that's kind of like a unicorn. I think that's kind of special just because of the characteristics of what that job entails and what you need to do to kind of get started. And just like I said, it's low cost. You get yourself a laptop, you get yourself a noteboard, you know what I'm saying? And you in the game, you know what I mean? And it's work. And I think one problem is a lot of people don't think dispatching is work. And you yourself, brother, that dispatching is work. It takes work. It takes some building. It takes some foundation. You have to build up your processes and your procedures and put your systems in place and all that. And you could probably get it to a point to where it's, partially passive, but it's never going to really be a passive business, because you're always going to have to, stay on top of your carriers, stay on top of your brokers. So, I mean, it's never going to really be passive, but you can get it to a point to where these, you're planned out for a week or whatever the case may be. You have dedicated routes and it's not as difficult as when you first started, but it'll never be really completely passive. But I think dispatching is just that special thing, man. I don't know if we'll have another one of those, but like I said, the next couple of years will really tell the story.
Yes, sir. Dispatching is special. I can't even lie to you. I feel so excited about it because I get to do what I do best naturally, which is communicate with people and network and allow that to, I don't know. I just get to be myself.
Nah, you said it perfectly, and that's what's really so special about it. You just, if you're a people person and you're good at building relationships, you're good at following up, you're good at being a pain in the butt. You just, if you have a few, those few little intangible skills that everybody doesn't have, you're able to communicate, you're able to pacify people to a certain extent, you're able to persuade people to another extent. If you have those few skills, man, you can really be successful, dispatching trucks.
Yes, sir.
And like I said, the key is just you don't have to put a lot of financial skin in the game, and that's what really it's more sweat equity. If you're willing to do the work and put sweat in, you can get a lot out, and that's what really makes it special.
Yes, sir. And for the folks who listening, I'm hiring 6 dispatchers, so holla at me. Just holla at me. Just holla at me.
That means we growing over there.
That means we growing. We growing, brother. So yeah, I appreciate you for answering that question. And for you, as a content creator, you've been doing this for a while. You even were making music back in the day, but now you are, creating these different episodes with Truck and Hustle, and 126 released. At this point, what appeals to you most, like, about somebody's story? Is it a feel-good story, or do you feel like you like something where it's going to educate the masses? Like, is there something specific or something like that, or what do you think?
So the first, I'll tell you what really appeals to me. Number one, I feel like people depend on Truck and Hustle, to expose new people that they haven't heard of before, right? Mm-hmm. So, I feel like, as me, when I put myself in the listener's shoes, I'm like, every Tuesday I want to wake up and I want to jump on YouTube or jump on Spotify or whatever, and I want to hear a new story that I haven't heard before, right? And I want to learn about somebody new that I haven't learned about before. I want to learn about a niche or a new niche that I haven't heard of or learned about before. So what I'm always trying to do is to discover, number one, people who aren't really visible. Like, I love finding the people with 23 followers on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? That nobody knows, that the only things you see on their gram is like pictures of their dog and their wife and like their last vacation. But then you go deeper and you find out they have a huge operation, or it don't even got to be a huge operation. They're just doing something dope, right? Yeah. But nobody knows who they are. So I love exposing those kind of people to the audience, because I think that's when we really get the best response. Because it's like, man, I've never heard this story. I've never seen this person, and this is dope. Like, it's like a present. It's like a gift on Christmas. Like, damn, like, where were you at all my life? You know what I'm saying? Like, this person's story spoke to me. So it starts with that, like, from the business perspective, when I'm kind of like looking for fresh people in business. Like, I want people that everybody hasn't heard of. That's what really, like, because I love to be the one to break that story. Like, I'm breaking it. Like, breaking news, this person is awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the feeling I get. Like, breaking news, this person is awesome, brought to you by Truck and Hustle. Right? The second thing I'm always looking for is the story. I love good stories. I just now told you, like, I love to watch Netflix and movies and all that. I love a good story. I love a good twist. I love a good, you thought this was going to be my life? Nah, you were wrong, because this is what I did. This is how I persevered. This is how I made it happen. Everybody thought I was going to fail, but nope, I didn't. So I love those comeback stories. And I just love stories that are just interesting, when you could just, just like, man, and things that people can relate to, things that I can relate to. So I'm always looking for, like, where's the story? Because at the end of the day, I'm talking to you for an hour. You gotta entertain the Hustle fam, and you gotta entertain me, or else I'm gonna go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So, like, while we're talking, I'm getting those stories. So a lot of times, just so y'all know, like, when I do interviews, I don't ever prepare questions or anything like that. I always sit down and I just go off the head and I have organic conversations. But what I do is I kind of get a skeleton outline of that person, their business, and kind of what they're about. But I never want to really know too much information, because that's all a part of, like, the discovery phase that we do together on the podcast. So we sit down and we just talk, and I always start from the beginning, childhood. And then I start building up the story, because I think everything is going to correlate and relate together, from your childhood, your upbringing, to where you are today. I think it all kind of is one big lineage, like it's all connected. So if you notice, that's how every podcast kind of starts. What's your backstory? So I'm building that story. I don't know these things. I'm just trying to really build a story. And, you know, my style of interview is always just building a question. Like people always say, man, you ask the right questions all the time. You ask great questions. But it's really easy. If you want to ask good questions, number one, you just have to just really build off the last answer. And all I do is just ask what I think is a good, solid, foundational question. And then if they didn't give me enough, I'm just pulling out the part that they didn't give me and saying, well, you told me about this, but keep on going. Like the best way to to get something out of somebody is to keep on asking them why. Like just keep on saying why and keep on deducing from the top why all the way to why till they just say, why the hell you keep on saying why? You know what I'm saying? Because you could keep on asking why, and by the time you get to the end of that why, this matter of fact, there's a thing because I'm also a defensive dude. I do like driver training and stuff like that, or I did it in my former life. And there's an accident. Like when you have like an accident, they have something called the 5 whys. Some of you guys probably heard about it, but basically it's just deducing. So you start with the premise like Rahmel hit the bridge, and it's like, okay, why did Rahmel hit the bridge? Because the bridge was in his way. Why was the bridge in his way? Because he turned down the wrong road. Why did he turn down the wrong road? Because he didn't have his directions. Boom, that's the reason why you hit the bridge. You feel me? So you keep on deducing from that top why to really get to the root cause analysis of what that situation is. So I try to conduct my interviews the same way. I don't always necessarily say why, but I'm just trying to keep on building and keep on asking the questions. Number one, that I think people want to hear, and I'm just trying to get to the root of the situation. And then the other part of that is just I want to get to the money. I want to get to the business. I want to get to the stuff that I know people want to know, because I know at the end of the day, people like flashy lights, people like numbers, people want to hear this stuff. At the end of the day, when you're listening to something, you're like, all right, this sounds good, but what's in it for me? How can I make my money too? You know what I mean? So I try to get to that. So these are just kind of some of the different things that I try to get to when we're doing an interview. I might have went off. What was the question again? I went off on a little tangent. What was the question?
Hey man, look, you can do whatever as long as you're passionate about it. It's fine.
Yeah. Now, when I start talking and stuff, I can start going, bro. But I wanted to circle back to the question though. You asked me. Say it again. What was it? You remember?
Yeah, the question was simply, what is it about the interviews at this point that really gets your attention? What appeals to you as a content creator?
Okay, got you. So I think I kind of answered that.
100%.
And then I got into all my other stuff that y'all don't care about, probably. but yeah. So that's really it, man. It's like I always say, I like to give information and inspiration. So I want to have a story that inspires people and also a story that informs people. I tell everybody that comes on my show, listen, if you're going to come on this show, I need you to be transparent. I need you to give it up. I don't care how many courses you selling. I don't care about none of that stuff. My truck and hustle people, they listen to this show to get information. They come here to get these free diamonds every week. So I need you to tell me about this business. When I ask you questions, I need you to answer, right? So I'm always just trying to pull as much as I can, and sometimes people I can't quite share that, and it's cool, but I'm going to try to get as much as I possibly can. So like I said, inspiration and information is really what I'm looking for when I do a show. And if you have those things, it doesn't matter how long you're in business. It doesn't matter how much money you made. All that doesn't matter to me. It's all about, do you have a dope story and are you willing to share your journey to this point? I don't care if you're in business for 6 months. That's not important, because you got to realize everybody's at different stages in their business. So the show can resonate with different people at different times. We may have somebody who just got into business, been in business 6 months, but got a dope story. That may not resonate with somebody who's been in business for 6 years. But they can still go back down memory lane and remember when they was in business for 6 months and take a trip real quick and just feel that person out. And then you have somebody who just started, who doesn't know the difference from a tractor and a trailer, but they need to hear that person who just got started. So I want it to be spread out to where we're giving everybody the opportunity to get on the platform and have a voice. So there's a mixed bag of different stories and different type of experiences, so everybody gets a shot. And the story isn't always too far along to where it feels like, oh man, they got 100 trucks. I'll never get there. Now I want you to hear about the person that got 2 trucks too. Like, that's dope also. Like, they got a story also. How'd you get there? You know what I'm saying? So I try to spread it out, and if you bounce around the different episodes, you'll see that there's people from all different stages of business and all different niches, and that's really like how, I look at things when I'm planning. I just want to really cover as much as I can with as much diversity in terms of like stages and where people at, so I could speak to everybody, or we could speak to everybody rather.
Yes, sir. I think that's very, very important to be mindful of your audience and just like, the differences. I mean, with the Transportation and Logistics Clubhouse, we definitely have people from all levels, people who don't even know about trucking, but they might have heard it's booming right now. So they're just looking to get as much information as they can. Or, just like you would have, we have those heavy hitters, people who are clearing over $100 million every year in this industry. And they're just as willing and happy with sharing their successes, their failures, their pain points, all of these things, with other people, so that those other people can learn and grow. So, I agree with you 100%. And that's very important as a content creator to keep that in mind. So you kind of said, going through that question, you said that you have these whys. You'll ask a why until you get down to the bottom of it. And, with that, you get a lot of answers. You get a lot of people sharing their stories, their experiences, and with you interviewing so many people who are doing so many things and are so successful, like, what do you feel like have been like the biggest takeaways from your interviews that you've conducted so far, whether they be, principles or, if there's something that's repeated, anything? What do you feel about that?
Man, I mean, there's so much, and it really depends on the story and like kind of like where the person comes from or their background. But I think the main theme is just always really just betting on yourself, man. Mm-hmm. Like in most of the stories that we share, nobody has a silver spoon, or nobody comes from money, or nobody comes from a lineage of business or anything like that. Most of these people are just people who come from blue collar jobs, or working in the industry, or another industry, wanted to change industries, wanted to do something different, or were in a position where they had no other choice because they weren't accepted by any other industry, and they had to really just double down and bet on themselves and really believe that they could make it happen and go all in and put their money where their mouth was at and just do it. I think that's the main thing that all of these entrepreneurs have in common, is that they're not afraid to bet on themselves, put their money where their mouth is, and they're not afraid to fail. They're not afraid to fail forward. They're not afraid to keep trying. And I think that's just in business in general, because it's cliche, but it's life, man. You have to persevere. You have to be resilient. Anything worth having is not going to be easy. You just have to, and anybody looking for a quick fix or instant gratification is probably not going to make it, in any industry, let alone trucking. You're going to be on your head real fast, especially when you start getting into, purchasing equipment and being asset based and all that. Like, you really invest a lot of money. So, I think it's just that perseverance and just really, really betting on yourself, and just, not being afraid to just go out there and get it. I think that's probably the common theme that every entrepreneur has, that comes on our show. And I think that's just business and life in general, man. You have to want it, and you have to not be afraid to go out there and get it.
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you so much for bringing that to this platform, man, because that's, you're basically just saying that folks got to go get it. If they want it, you got to go get it, and it's not going to be handed to you. So you got to have that grit behind it. So I agree. I appreciate you. And, with you conducting so many interviews and, it being just literally people who are very successful, your network, brother, your network is crazy. Okay. I think at one point, that's the only thing I was thinking about. At one point, I was like, man, this guy's connected to everybody,
Facts. It's a blessing. Yeah, it's a blessing. Yeah, the network is crazy. And I always tell people, like, that's really the best kept secret of Truck and Hustle is the network, man. Like Jay-Z got a line from Reasonable Doubt. He says, if every N-word, I won't say the word, in your clique is rich, your clique is rugged, nobody will fall because everyone will be each other's crutches.
Right.
And that's just real. When you have a network, man, of like-minded people, that's the most important part, because we could all have a network, but if we have a network of like-minded people, and obviously that's assuming that you have a positive mind, right?
Yeah.
Right? And you have that network of, because you could be the mafia too and be like-minded, right? And have a network of that. Or whatever. But if you have a network of like-minded people, man, you'll never be down. Anytime you think you're down, somebody from your network will pull you up, whether it's with an opportunity, whether it's with just a blessing, like, yo, here's $1,000, bro. You know what I'm saying? You just really never know. But when you have those kind of people around you, and you're all working towards the same goal, and your character speaks for itself, when you could get in when every room is talking about you the same way, they're saying the same things, you're always solid, you never do nobody dirty. There's nothing more powerful than that, because at the end of the day, money comes and goes. Those relationships are worth gold, man. They're worth gold. And I'm blessed to have a strong network of super dope individuals, man, that, it's so hard for me to keep up with everybody, because it's a lot of people, and my network was already big before this, you know what I'm saying? So I still have my, my network prior to social media, and now, my network after building Truck and Hustle. And it's difficult to keep up with everybody, but I try to, stay in touch with everybody and just see how everybody's doing, and just let everybody know that I'm there, man. Like, I'm always a resource. Like, I'm a resource for you, for your business. If you need a connection, you need to holler at somebody, whatever, just let me know. And I always make that very clear. Like, don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. And I always, connect people as well. Like, if I feel that somebody was a good fit for somebody else, let me be the icebreaker for you. Let me be the person that says, yo, you may have wanted to talk to that person, but, maybe you can't put your pride to the side, or maybe you're just not really good at, making those kind of connections. I'm going to be the one to jump in, both of y'all DMs and be like, yo, you do this, you do that. I think y'all could, make something happen together. At least just have a conversation and see where it goes. And that's happened numerous amount of times where we're building businesses and building relationships behind the scene, but that's all due to the network. And then that also trickles down to me as well. They give back to me just the same way I give to them. So if there's somebody for a show or something that can help my business or whatever, it's like, yo, this person will be dope for you. Holla at this person. This is a connection. This is somebody that may want to, sponsor your show, whatever it may be. But that network is so important, man. Everybody always say your network is greater than is your net worth. Man, 100%. That is so true. If you take nothing away from this conversation, work on building your network, man. And just more importantly, work on being a good person so that your network will build. Work on being that person that's solid, that always does right by others, that don't, do no shady dealings or do no nonsense, or, take some short money to win in the beginning, but you lose in the long run because you broke a relationship. Like, always just keep your name good, man. Don't ever let your name be mud. And that's the most important thing in this industry, in any industry, is just don't let your name be mud, man. And that'll take you further than you could ever expect. It'll open doors for you. It'll create opportunities for you. Just always be solid.
Wow. Yeah, bro, those are bars. They didn't rhyme, but, they were heavy. That was deep.
Yeah, that's real, bro. That's real. I mean, I implore everybody, man, just work on building your network and get out of your own way. Like, if you're shy, I know a lot of people are introverts and they're not really, into talking to people like that. Find other ways to connect with people and find other ways to communicate with people. Find other introverts to rock with. Y'all can talk about being introverted, but you have to build a network. Is so important, man. So just get out your own way and just start reaching out to people. I try to talk with at least one stranger every week and just ask a crazy question. And you'll be so surprised how many friends I've made just by seeing somebody in a random place, just being like, hey, what's going on, man? How's your day going today? Good? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. What you do, by the way? Oh, okay. Oh, you happen to own that warehouse down the block? Oh, that's crazy. Right? Man, it's powerful, man. But just by opening yourself up and just being a people's person, you never know what. Because, I mean, if you believe in God and you just believe in the universe and how things work, God is constantly putting opportunities and things in your way. It's just how are you going to take advantage of them? You know what I'm saying? And one of my favorite sayings is by Bob Johnson. He's the former owner of BET. He said, you know, make your, I always tell people this, make your friends before you need them. And what that means is that, you know, be the person to create relationships and make friends before you need those friends. So in other words, you build these organic relationships, genuine bonds with people. When the time comes and you need those people, they're going to already be there. You don't got to reach out and be like, damn, it would be good if I was cool with such and such, because he could surely help me now. Nah, you're already cool. Y'all already built a genuine bond. Y'all already straight. So now when it's time to link up, it's organic. It's like, yo, I'm working on this. How can I add value to you? Maybe you can add value to me. And now we already good. You know what I'm saying? It's not about what you can do for me. It's what we can do for each other. So always make your friends before you need them. And my other favorite saying is, if you want to be an interesting person, be an interested person. And that's just basically saying, if you want to be interesting to other people, be interested in them, because that's going to make you interesting. Because the more questions you ask of other people, it's going to make you an interesting person by just being interested, because it creates conversations. It makes people open up. It makes people talk. And before you know it, you have friends. You know, what's the book? How to Influence People and whatever.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's all about being interested. It's not about doing all the talking so much. It's about letting other people talk, letting other people share. Because successful people love to share. They love to tell you how successful they are. They love to tell you everything about themselves. All you got to do is get them to open up. But at the end of the day, they don't want to waste their jewels. They don't want to put their crowns on somebody who's not worthy. You know what I'm saying? So if you show that you're worthy, you show that you're interested, you come with organic, real, like love, they're going to give you all the information you need. You ain't got to say, yo, can I pick your brain? They're going to give it to you. They're going to give you their brain. You ain't got to ask for it. They're going to give it to you. Just be organic about how you approach it. You know, because like I said, successful people love to talk. They love to run their mouth because they don't have a lot of people. They always say it's lonely at the top. That's real. Successful people don't got a lot of people to talk to. And most of the people that they do have in their circle usually got their hand out. So they love to talk to a stranger that, you know, they could just share and just give a little something, just some free bars or some free jewels or whatever we call it these days. Right. So just be open to receive that. You know, be open to receive that.
Yes, sir. I mean, you did also touch on the God side of thing, and I agree with that part because, you know, in the way that the universe works, you know, they say that if you have a problem, you know, almost 100% of the time, God is going to answer that problem in the form of a person. And if you're unwilling to speak to the person right next to you, how do you might be limiting yourself on exactly what you need to get to that next level. So with that understanding, I'm thrilled every time I see somebody new and I have an opportunity to speak. You know, we're going to talk about something. Something is going to be said where you're going to know a little bit about me. I'm going to know a little bit about you. And, you know, maybe something's going to come of it, but some exchange is going to happen. So I agree with that. And I feel like people, I think it comes naturally to you and myself just because, you know, the nature of being like we like to build our networks and, you know, it's just a part of our lives. But, you know, I kind of have that conversation with other people all the time. You just got to be able to open your mouth, put yourself out there because you might have that opportunity right in front of you. You just got to uncover it a little bit. So,
yes, sir. That's 100% real. That's true.
Yes, sir. So look, at this point, we've been going now for a very, you know, strong hour. You know, I did want to just ask a couple more questions, but I do want to also be very respectful of your time because you do have a lot going on, brother. You know, at this point, what can people take away and learn from you being consistent and diligent in your craft? Like, what's the biggest takeaway you think other people can can see and take away from looking at your situation?
I mean, you just said it, man. That's big C right there, consistency. It's the only thing that sets it. I mean, you have to have a product or something that people like. You know what I mean? Something that make that you have to speak to some kind of audience. If you're talking to content creators, right? You have to have something that people obviously want, right? You can't, you know, be giving them something that they don't want. But on top of that, outside of that, it's just all about consistency, man. It's all about just doing the same thing repetitively over and over again, and to the point to where people trust and they know that they can count on you for whatever you say you're going to deliver at that time. And once you're able to build that trust and you're able to build that foundation, of people who support you because you have kept the promise of being consistent, it's only going to grow, and it'll grow and it'll plateau, and then it'll grow a little bit more, and then it'll plateau, and then it'll grow a little more, and you'll plateau again. But then there's going to be that point where you just explode, and you're not going to see it coming. I haven't gotten to that point yet. I'm still at the grow, plateau. But I know if I keep on putting in this work, there's going to be a point to where a situation is going to come that's going to take everything I'm doing to the next level. Why? Because whatever that opportunity is going to look back on all of my consistency, and they're going to see that this person has been putting in the work. This platform has been putting in the work, and it's not just me. I got a team of people who help me with Truck and Hustle, so it's definitely not just me. But this platform has been putting in the work for this long, without reaping any huge benefits, any huge rewards. They just keep on going. They're relentless. They're not going to stop. Let me be the person to partner with them before I can't afford them no more. Let me be the person to get on board before, they too bougie to even take my phone call. It's going to happen, right? So you have to just keep on working and being consistent until you get to that point to where that life-changing moment happens for you. And like I said, when that connection happens, all that work that you put in is going to start to make sense. That's why when people win awards, like you see them winning their Grammy or they winning their Oscar or whatever, they get on that stage and they break down crying. They have all these tears because they're thinking about all the work that they put in when nobody was recognizing them for all these years. And they're finally recognized for their greatness. They've been great forever. They didn't just start being great. They've always been great. But now is that moment that it's the life changer. So now they get that award, and now the next movie's going to be that $1 million bag or whatever the case may be, because now they lit, but they've been lit. It's just that it just takes time. God is going to reward that consistency. So you said the word, bro. You just have to be consistent in whatever you do. And if you keep on doing it, that moment is going to happen to where you just shoot up 10x exponentially. You're going to take it to the next level, whether it's in business, whether it's in content creation, whatever. And sometimes you don't even realize it. You don't even realize that you went from $2,000 a month to $200,000 a month because it feels like the same work. You know what I'm saying? It feels like the same work. Somebody has to point it out to you, or you just recognize damn, I remember when I was only doing 2,000 a week. We really literally, we doing 200,000 in invoices. When did that happen? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And when that comes, you're going to reflect. You're going to take your time and you're going to look back on all the work that you did. You're going to start remembering everything, the entire journey. And you're going to be like, damn, I could have stopped here. I could have stopped there. I could have gave up here. I could have quit here. I remember when this happened and they was about to, shut my, pull my insurance. I remember when this happened, I crashed and I thought I was going to have my company shut down. I remember when this happened and, 5 people quit from my dispatch company and I didn't know how I was going to whatever. You're going to start remembering all that. But the fact that you persevered, you kept on moving through and being consistent, that's what's going to have you sitting there balling up crying when you winning those awards. It's not that award. You're not thinking about the award. You're not thinking about the Grammy. You're not thinking about the Oscar. You're thinking about all that work that went into it.
Yes,
that
sir.
You're like, damn, I done bust my ass for this, man. I deserve this moment. You know what I'm saying? So be consistent, show up every day, and just keep on doing the same thing, man. You're not gonna get the results that you want right off the bat. And the other thing I want to add to that is the saying that comparison is the
thief of joy. Yes, sir.
Don't compare yourself to other people, man, because I even do it. I look at other podcasts out there and I'm like, we dope, but they doing it on this level. And they doing this. Right. And I'm forgetting, and it takes somebody to jump in my DM and remind me of all the progress that I did make. And I'm like, yo, what am I thinking about? Like, we done came this far. We 126 in. We got thousands and thousands of people listening to us every week. Am I crazy? Like, I'm not appreciative of all of this work I put. I'm sitting there looking at another person's goal. Nah, man, don't compare yourself to nobody. Run your race. Keep on going. and you're gonna get there eventually. It's gonna happen, and it may sound cliche, but it's the truth. You just got to keep on going. And I'm still on my race. I'm still running my race. Truck and Hustle is nowhere near what I feel Truck and Hustle can be, what I feel the potential of Truck and Hustle is. But I do know that all I have to do is keep on doing what y'all, the people who tune in every week, what you guys, why you put me in position, keep on feeding the streets, and we gonna get there. You know what I'm saying? So I just keep on working and keep on focusing on, they call it, there's this book called Clockwork, and they call it about what's the queen bee role. What's the main thing that drives your business? The main thing that drives my business is putting out dope stories, information, and inspiration. So I'm gonna keep on focusing on that. I don't worry about how am I gonna monetize, how am I gonna make money, what product can I sell, I don't study that, because I know that all that's gonna come organically. I'm gonna let the people decide what that's gonna be, right? But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep on doing what I know needs to be done to fulfill the promise that I made to my audience, saying I'm gonna be here for y'all every week. I might miss a week here and there. Sometimes we gotta regroup, we gotta regather ourselves, retool. But you can damn well be sure that on Tuesday, Truck and Hustle gonna be there. You're gonna hear that music, that it's coming. It's coming. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. It's just being consistent, bro.
All right. And look, man, I think that right there is just, that closes out, that question, that answer, that response, that passion behind what you were saying, that is going to close out my questionings. I just want to say thank you, brother, for joining us today. Like I said before, I've learned so much from just watching the way that you move in the industry. Like I've been able to actually see, that's a step I should take over there, because I'm seeing the success by that brother who just did that. And, I just want to say I appreciate you again for being a great example, somebody that's positive, that is, willing to support other people. All those things are just great attributes that I just see in you. And I just want to say thank you again. I wish nothing but success to Truck and Hustle. And, at this point, I did want to ask are you open to questions?
Sure. I mean, if there's questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay. Well, look, I'm just going to say this for 30 seconds. The questions are open, so please raise your hand if you're available. But I'm only going to leave this thing open for 30 seconds because we've been going for over an hour at this point. And like I said, this brother, he has other things that he could be doing. So, so I'm just going to, like I said, the flowers are for you, brother, because like I said, you've been putting the industry on, the culture on. And again, just thank you. We did have one of my brothers that just raised his hand. All right. Look, Josh, welcome to the stage, brother. Please introduce yourself and let us know what your question is.
Good brother, Jorie. I appreciate you, man. My nickname for you, the male Oprah of Clubhouse. You still doing it? Great interview. Rahmel, bro, I ain't had no question. I just want to come up here and show some love. Before I do that, just so people know, my name is Josh Henry. From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I run Apex Energy Logistics. We do LTL and local mile freight here. I started my company because of the pandemic, grew it to 3 box trucks, running it consistently every single day. So, Rahmel, I just wanted to say, bro, I just want to give you your flowers. I've been a fan of Truck and Hustle since day one. I'm one of them people that DM'd you and told you that I saw my future, me being on your platform, and it's still part of my plan. I love what you do for the culture. Repping up north, of course, always a plus in my book, but I love the platform. I love how you move, bro. Especially like one of the big things to me is like seeing someone in my culture not only doing something that is positive, but also seeing how you move with your wife too. You know what I'm saying? Like I like that combination of how you move and correlate as a married man and moving throughout the industry, and just it's been some key interviews that you did that have helped me along my journey. So I'm just appreciative to you, bro. I just wanted to come up here and show you my flowers. And like I said, you one of my goals on my list. So I'll be on your show sooner than later.
Yo, I appreciate that, brother. Definitely, man. Hit me in my DM too, just so I make sure I follow you and we definitely connect, bro. Much love, man. I appreciate you.
No, absolutely. Appreciate you. Keep doing it for the culture, man. We need more like you, man.
No doubt, fam. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. I appreciate that, Josh. Thank you so much for coming up to the stage, asking your question, and also best of luck, good intentions, and all that great stuff with Apex Synergy. Because
100%.
those brothers up there, very professional carrier out of the Philadelphia area. So if you guys have freight that needs to be moved via box truck, straight truck, any of those type of trucks, you reach out to that brother directly. All right.
100%.
So we did have, no doubt, brother. We had another guest on stage. Hey, sir, can you please introduce yourself and let us know what your question is?
Sure. Thank you for bringing me up. My name is Jafir. I'm with 10X Trucks. We're just a new company. Basically, we try to push this thing on the software part of it, even bring, the blockchain and all. Truck enhancement, I really do appreciate you. A lot of things that I learned from you, and you put out good work. So I'm just trying to ask you that, what do you think is lacking, something that you can think of it like in a software part? You say, man, I wish this was a part of this trucking business. Do you have anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, so kind of like to go back to what I was saying before, I think we have to think like less is more. Just think really simple. Even if it's a communication tool between drivers and their dispatchers, right? Like think of a product like Calendly, right? That's a $1 billion platform that is just simply scheduling. That's it. There were other tools that you can do scheduling with, but Calendly was able to thrive because it did a few things differently and it niched itself. So if we could create apps like that or software like that, you talked about the blockchain. I mean, there's crazy opportunity in blockchain. I'm not an expert by any means on blockchain or any of that, but I'm sure, there's so many different things when it comes to payments and communication and things that you could put on the ledgers to help that could just kind of like really revolutionize transportation. So, I mean, there's a lot of things, man. You just have to look at the pain points. Like, what are some of the problems that people are having every day in transportation? There's so many, because at the end of the day, trucking and transportation logistics is extremely antiquated still. Even with all the technology that we have, it's still behind. So there's plenty of innovations that can happen in shipments and warehousing. There's all different types of innovations that there's still room for. So I think you just, find a niche or ask some questions, go out there, survey some drivers, survey some shippers, survey some, brokers, survey the people, man, and see what their pain points are, and then create solutions around it. And I don't think it has to be, the next, huge social network, anything like that. I think it could be very, very simple things that could solve problems for people that are everyday problems that happen in the industry. Because as we know, our industry is extremely problematic. There's always a different problem. So if you could find one of those problems and create a solution around it, I think it's dope. But I think there's so much opportunity in tech that is being left on the table in transportation. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, absolutely. You say it just the right way. And that's what we do with 10xtrucks.com. We have basic 2 different apps, Android and iOS for driver and the shipper. What I'm trying to do is like, why the dispatch has to go look for the board and stuff when the broker or the shipper can get the, once you sign into this network, that's what we're doing. You get the load to you and you bet on it. You just say, hey, this is what I want. You don't have to look for the load. The load will come to you.
So what are you like? Are you like aggregating? Are you aggregating information from different load boards and putting it all in one, like almost like an Expedia for loads?
Exactly, but at the same time, we're doing the brokerage stuff and going straight to the shipper, where you can almost like take off the middleman from the shipper to the driver, and we do all the back end everything for you. You just like, if you want to even get paid by Bitcoins, a customer want to pay with Bitcoins, that's what we're targeting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, there's tons of innovation. I mean, we're entering into a brave new world, man. And like I said, trucking is still extremely antiquated. There's people still doing things on paper. It's still faxes being sent. So, it's extremely antiquated. There's plenty of room for innovation.
All right, Jafir, thank you so much for coming up to the stage, brother, asking that question and letting us know what you had going on. Very, very appreciative. And, feel free to utilize this platform anytime you want to survey other folks in the transportation and logistics clubhouse. Feel free to open up as many rooms as you like and try to get more of a target audience to get those answers. But yeah, thank you so much for coming up to the stage. So yeah, at this point, Brother Rahmel, thank you again, brother. If you need anything from me, just know that, I'm always here to help. So we're going to be closing out next week. I did want to say that I'm looking forward to next week's guest. We're going to have Jorie of She Trucking. We always know she has a lot going on using her platform. So I definitely want to highlight that young lady. But at this point, Brother Rahmel, you have a blessed one, sir. Thank you again for your time today.
Thank you so much for the love, man. Y'all know I love y'all. Everybody, make sure y'all go check out Truck and Hustle if you don't follow. And I appreciate this so much, man. Thank you so much for, bearing with me tonight on this platform. I know I talk a lot.
I know, it's great, man. This is one of the easiest interviews I've ever done.
Yo, I try to make it easy for you, brother. That's my job. Make your life easy. You feel me?
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. You have a blessed one.
No doubt. You too.
All right, y'all.
Man. Y'all be safe out there.
All right, now.
All right.
Peace.